All right, so Herman Cain's campaign says it raised more than $400,000 on Monday. This after the story broke, alleging that he had been accused of sexual harassment. Also, a super PAC sent out a fundraising email declaring the left is trying to destroy Herman Cain, just like they did to Clarence Thomas. They are engaging in a high-tech lynching. But is this strategy of blaming the left for Herman Cain's current problems a sound one? That is fair game for my guest today. With us, Democratic strategist Maria Cardona and Christopher Metzler, who is an associate dean of the Georgetown University School of Continuing Studies. Chris, let me start with you. Rush Limbaugh said that this is not a news story, called it partisan politics, while Ann Coulter called the charges outrageous. They also both blamed liberals. So is this a good strategy?
No, it's actually a disastrous strategy. Now, if we want to have a conversation about how black conservatives are treated and black conservatives being looked at as an enigma, we can have that conversation. The problem here is to use this racial hyperbole about high-tech lynching and all of those kinds of things really muddies the water. Furthermore, here's the problem, and here's why that argument is illogical. If the left were going to attack Herman Cain, they wouldn't do it now. They would wait until he is the nominee. That's what would make more sense. At this point, if there's going to be an attack, it's going to be from the right because they want to knock him out of being the nominee. I mean, so this entire thing doesn't make any sense. It clouds the conversation, and it really gets us to the point where the right now is trying to use racism, and it's awful. It's an awful kind of gutter politics.
Herman Cain has said that he thinks this is about race, but he doesn't have any evidence to support that. Maria, what do you think? Will this strategy work on the base?
Well, I think it clearly has worked thus far, Randy, or else he wouldn't have raised all that money. But the question is it sustainable? And I guess I would have additional questions for his supporters. Number one, do you really want to support somebody who has unanswered questions and inadequate questions about sexual harassment allegations? And it'd be interesting to see if most of his supporters and most of the people who've given him money are male. And number two, I would also question, frankly, more importantly than those allegations, are his stances on very important foreign policy and domestic issues, which he has completely blundered. For example, immigration. Does he really want to electrify a fence and have people who come over killed? Does he want to really negotiate with terrorists? He walked back from that one. And when he described his stance on abortion, he sounded like a Democrat and had to walk that back. And then recently, he talked about how he's really nervous that China's going to become a nuclear power. Herman Cain, China's been a nuclear power for more than 30 years. Those, I think, are the really difficult issues.
I want to get back to the quote, though, of calling this a high-tech lynching, because this really seems to be out of Justice Thomas's playbook. I mean, it worked then, so Christopher, why wouldn't it work now?
Okay, here's why it's not going to work now. First of all, I'm a conservative who's been attacked for many of the positions that I've taken. Take that out of the conversation. Here's the difference with Justice Thomas, and in this case with Herman Cain. What happened with Justice Thomas and Anita Hill was that she came out at the point where he was being considered for the Supreme Court. The difference here is there's been an investigation. Something has been concluded, and in fact, the company made a decision to settle, whether it's for nuisance value or whatever. Those are two very different situations. And as a result of that, what the right now is doing is resorting to these tactics of high-tech lynching and all of those kinds of things, raising the race card when they are blaming the left for having done the same thing. And the reason that people like Herman Cain is because he has made the complicated simple. In this case, he sounds a little like Bill Clinton. It depends on what the meaning of is, and that's not going to fly.
All right, Christopher Metzler, Maria Cardona, thank you very much for playing today.
Thanks.
That is
Thanks, Randy.
fair game. Thank you both.